Oh, we are back! Wow, it has been a while.
Ooh.
Woo! I'm just getting over the fact that we're doing this again. Hey, Dan.
Hello. It's
Hey.
like the classic lineup reunion for
Yeah,
our podcast.
yeah, yeah.
Back.
I'm Ben, and you're Dan.
Dan.
And this is
Yeah.
Suitcase, disc by disc, hosted by the Tin Can Laughter. We are doing Suitcase 3, Disc 3. I
Yes.
prepared for this episode over a month ago, and then classwork happened, and
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
As did I.
Yeah.
I was listening to this a lot, and yeah, it's cool.
So I haven't actually listened to this in a month. I didn't think to go back and listen to
Yeah,
the
that's
songs
the thing.
again.
Yeah, like I listened to it a lot a month ago, so
Yeah,
like
so this
it's
is
okay. I can pick this
yeah.
up.
So I'm just gonna assure you now, this and maybe the next one will be the worst episodes of this podcast. But it's fine. We're getting back into it. Might as well. I
Yeah.
think if we'd stayed on track, we would have probably been wrapping up by now. Or like
That's
very
true.
near
I
the
mean,
end.
this is disc 11, so
Mhm.
really, yeah, we got five more to go after this, I
Mhm.
guess, and then maybe some of the honorary suitcase discs that are out there.
We
So,
might, or we'll do Mike's Circus Devils podcast.
ooh, yeah, maybe we should just hop right into
We
that,
should.
or
That's
make room.
yeah.
Yeah,
Announcement for all y'all who I know don't care. All the listeners of this podcast, that we might be doing a Circus Devils podcast. I doubt it'll be hosted here though. We should have
yeah,
maybe
with our friend.
maybe talked about that
Hoagie
before
Mike.
we started recording. Yeah, Hoagie Mike, he's great.
Yeah,
We should get started on this, and we'll discuss that when I stop.
let's do
when
it.
I
All right.
end the recording. All right. So we start with
Mhm.
Bird Shit Mosaic.
Night ears.
Night Ears
Yeah.
is a wild way to open a disc, man.
It's so good. It's so good. This is
It's peak elephant. It's so
I know.
elephant jokes it couldn't be on the album.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I was the only real thing I have to say about it though is it's the only Bob track that's ever reminded me of of U.S. Maple.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy,
Which
that's some
I mean
out
they're
there
a
stuff.
they're a really out there band, but there's like this moment. It's just one. Bob has this kind of like wheezy quality to his voice in the song, and also there's this moment where the guitars kind of break down and are just kind of like playing this little riff with like no rhythm,
Yeah.
no drums. Yeah,
Mhm.
that part right there, that's like pure U.S. Maple. Like you could
Wow.
isolate that little section, and that could fit into one of their songs. But it's just like a moment. But
Hmm.
I don't know, just a fun observation. I'm a fan of that band, so
Sick. Yeah, I just think it's like if Out of the House wasn't remotely refined. Like I feel like we've mentioned before in the podcast that there were songs in Elephant Jokes that Bob wrote in the studio, and that's part
yeah,
of why it was originally a double album because he kept coming up with ideas. This sounds like that.
yeah,
It sounds like
yeah.
he thought of an idea, ran with it for a minute, was done with the idea,
Mhm.
and just said, let's finish it anyway." Something like
Yeah,
that.
which is why Elephant Jokes has kind of like that Alien Lanes kind of feel to it, where it's a
Yeah.
bunch of short songs. There's songs that just are really weird structurally. Just the only difference is it's not like a super lo-fi
Hmm.
album. It's got that Todd Tobias production, which is always
Yeah.
like
And I think,
huge.
Mhm. And I think Elephant Jokes as a whole, I think, is a bit less forgiving than Alien Lanes is, because Alien Lanes, at least, you'll get some difficult tracks, and then you'll get My Valuable Hunting Knife or Game of Pricks. Elephant
Mhm.
Jokes has hits, but it doesn't have those, so it's a bit more testing.
Right.
It's Bob wrote a Circus Devils album, and I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
when he finished it, he thought maybe some of the like really out there tracks stood out a bit too much, and that's why Night Ears isn't on there. It's why the Annex isn't on there. It's why Naked Believer isn't on there. I don't know.
Oh man. Well, we'll talk about some of those later on.
Oh, they are in this disc. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay, but we got some other songs to discuss first,
Yeah.
such as
Track two
Pissing
is-
in the Canal, Amnesia.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, what year was that? 85? 84?
80,
Pissing in the
84.
Canal.
84 was Pissing in the Canal.
Yeah.
It had 10 songs,
just-
and this is one of them.
Yeah. It's a nice song. I mean, I love all the songs from this era, so what are you gonna do? It's like
It's great. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it could have been released at that time, and it fit right in with what was going on, in the
Hmm.
college rock kind of scene.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, could have gained a bit of traction. I mean, it's a nice. I mean, it's really lo-fi. It sounds like
yeah,
there's a It sounds like they recorded Bob and Mitch singing in front of like a speaker playing the instrumental. Like it's
yeah,
as lo-fi as you're gonna get.
yeah. Do you think that's like I mean, what is
I'm
that like a single mic kind of,
I'm not sure. I'm kind of
band in a
speculating.
rehearsal room kind of?
I've
I always,
I
I
read.
always felt like those songs were multi-tracked.
See, that's why I'm not sure. Is I feel like I read somewhere once how those tracks were recorded, and it involved I think Pete Jameson doing a sort of makeshift multi-track setup. So like it was, but it
Mhm.
wasn't.
Yeah,
And just based on the way it sounds, it's a lot of the not all of them, but a lot. I think a lot of the songs from the era sound like the instrumental was previously recorded and then played maybe with I guess a reduced sound quality because it's
yeah.
not the original track, it's a master, and then it's using that master and Bob and Mitch sing over that. That's what I think it is. Don't take this as gospel. We are a podcast. Do not take us as gospel. We're not publishing books about this shit. I had to throw it in.
Guaranteed.
I'm
Yeah,
baiting. I'm baiting the guy. Um,
yeah.
no shame. I should.
The
Um,
next song is cool.
it's Fly
Fly
Away.
Away. Harry says. Wait, is that what's
Here
the
it's
title on the?
here it's called Tommy Says, even though the lyric is
Yeah.
still Terry Says in the song. This is a track from the fourth Boston Spaceships album, Our Cube House Still Rocks, which I
Yeah.
think is a phrase from Finnegan's Wake, a book I have never
Yes.
read.
No.
I hear it's difficult.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that it exists. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah. I can't imagine reading it through, but like, I
It's not.
understand why might be fun or cool to like do
Yeah.
so. I think there is stuff to get out of it,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's
And it's not surprising that, Bob Pollard, of all people, who has expressed a fairly strange array of reading habits, might have read that book and seen that phrase.
yeah. I mean, just the sheer wordplay and like the phrases and weird, just kind of cool. I mean, Bob's always inventing words like insectrocutioner. Is that
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, I think on the new album on Styles We Paid For, one of the lines says outer. It sounds like he says outer space, but he's really saying outer spate. If you look at the lyrics.
God. Was that Roll Made of Heaven? That's not Suitcase
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
We should get
No,
back
no,
to
no.
this song.
Oh,
There's
you're
an
right.
interesting little
Oh,
thing in this song where it starts and then the pitch gradually dips down a step, so it goes from C to B.
Is that due to like a tape? Like
I
tape
have to
warping, or?
assume because
Huh.
like there's a few other Bob recordings that start at a different pitch for whatever reason, but those are all like self-inflicted Aero nostalgia tracks. This is clearly an older recording because it sounds less like like an acoustic guitar, and it sounds a bit more like the buzzing one stringer, but it's not
Interesting.
that.
I always thought this one was probably like contemporary with
Nah,
Boston Spaceships album. You think it's older?
I think it's older because it's the sound of the guitar. See, this is the nerdy shit that like only I care about. Sash here is another big hardcore GBV guy, and I know you're interested in the history, but I don't think anyone else on the board gives two shits about something like that. And I'm just sitting here like, it's obviously an unplugged hollow body, because I've heard that and I've heard an acoustic, and they sound quite different. This
Interesting.
one's less.
See, I don't.
This is less resonant.
Yeah, I can't hear that. So what I hear is that Bob is doing the little like kind of pieced together kind of demo where you can hear at some point like the tape stops and then he picks up a section. So I always associate that with like I would say 2000 or well maybe like 2005 onward maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
realistically,
post Milko Wave.
yeah. Well, Bob was probably always wrote like that. It's just a matter of what we heard.
That's true.
And there's
yeah.
some, yeah. There's some.
but
I think there's some
speculation on my part. Either way,
Yeah.
this song reminds me of some other songs on previous discs that we've talked about that didn't get remakes, like Joe the Crow. Just
Yeah, it sounds a lot like
or
that.
yeah,
There's a track later
just
on
a
here. It
song
sounds
that-
like.
Oh yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. So yeah, I like this type of song. It's got that folky, almost like instantly memorable melody for a Bob song. It's not doesn't have a lot of abrupt changes or anything like that. Is a pretty straightforward song and really nice remake. You know, the band version is really a good highlight for me. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
What's next? Ooh, Acid Ranch.
Peace and Persecution.
I
This
don't
one's
even.
great too.
I don't remember this one. I
It's
just
like
don't.
it's pretty unhinged. I'm gonna play it.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like the guitar can't keep up with the drum machine. That's all I remember.
Yeah, Bob's just like peace and persecution. He's just got, you know, just a very unhinged vocal take.
Yeah. That
And,
sounds familiar. I think again, I don't remember it very well.
It's super lo-fi. Yeah, there's like a yeah, you're right. It's Acid Ranch for sure. It's credited to Bob and Jimmy Pollard and Mitch Mitchell.
Oh yeah, that would be Acid Ranch.
Yeah, but yeah, cool song. You know, revisit that when you're ready. It's just like, the vocals are buried, but like Bob is hitting these great melodies, these great lines that you're just like you can't really tell what he's saying, but just like the sound of them is really cool. Just one of those extemporaneous kind of melodies. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's next?
Okay.
Oh, the
This
constant
next
rushing
one's a big
forward.
one.
I've read up older posts about this song on the board that indicate that this getting onto Suitcase 3 was a huge deal. This is There Are Other Worlds. It was recorded in 2001 by Bob, John Schaff, and Joe Bubin. For a soundtrack for I think it was the movie Ryan Gosling did before The Notebook. I don't know. It was a Ryan Gosling movie.
United States of Leland or something like that.
And it's like no one. I've never heard anyone talk about that movie except to mention this song.
Yeah. So no joke. I was in college. I remember the apartment I was in. So it must have been, I'm guessing 2005. I think it was 2005, the year I graduated, and I rented that movie at a Blockbuster just because I wanted to hear that song. And I don't even remember. Like, I didn't even watch the movie. I rented the movie and I just watched it until I heard that song. And I don't remember when in the movie it is. I don't remember how I found it.
But it is in the movie.
Ahead or whatever. It is in the movie. Like only like the first minute. It only from like the first verse up to like the first half of the chorus. And that is all we had. I ripped it, I made an MP3 of it and I shared it with some people. But that's all we had was this little snippet.
So the full version hadn't been anywhere.
Yes, correct.
Oh, that is big.
Yeah. But that little snippet was out there. So that was cool because I was like, this sounds like a great song. I want to hear it, the whole thing. And so yeah, that was a big deal for that to be on here.
Yeah, and it's like, leave it to Bob to tease a song like that and then have 8 years pass before anyone hears the whole version, and it's incredible.
Yeah,
it's one of the best tracks on Suitcase 3.
For sure. One of the best Suitcase tracks, like, period, I would
Probably,
say.
yeah. Well, it's got tough competition there, but, ooh, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's up there for me. I like that one a lot. So. Cool track. I mean, not too far removed from, say, something that would be on like Universal Truths and Cycles.
Yeah, I could see
this. Has that sound for me.
I could see it having been on there.
Yeah, like it's a different band on this version, but like
I think it's just
you could kind of hear what. Yeah.
You can hear what Bob was
style.
Yeah, you can hear what Bob was trying to accomplish because it certainly doesn't really fit in with the Isolation Drills stuff from right before it.
Right.
It's not as punchy. Or maybe
Yeah.
it's punchier, but it's not. I don't know. I don't know what the word is. Words aren't my strong point. I just know the song
Mm-mm.
is great. Words aren't
Yeah.
my strong point. 11 episodes into a podcast I host.
Right. So it's the song.
Knuckles and McDougal. What the fuck is this? It's the song. It
The,
is a song, I
yeah.
think. It's
Yeah.
definitely a song. I don't know what else it is. This is just
Oh,
weird.
didn't you tell me you heard the lyric about the hotels, right? Is it houses
Oh,
green and hotels red? That's
ah,
this one, right?
that does. Yeah, it does sound familiar. Except instead of the way it appears on Ants or the Tropic of Nipple song, Bob just kind of shouts it for a bit.
Yeah, this is a
I-
pretty weird song.
I'd love to know
That's
what Bob's cats thought of him singing that.
he's singing in a really strained, high-pitched kind of yell.
Yeah, and there's a recording behind him too. There's very clearly a recording
Yeah,
behind
I
him,
was gonna say, yeah,
and
if
he
you
Bob's not
really
shouting
listen,
on that.
right, right, he's like singing. Maybe something else. It's hard to tell.
Hmm.
It's a very weird track, and it's only like it sounds like an acid ranch kind of thing, but it's only credited to him, so it makes me think it was just a multi-tracked Bob
Yeah, I
kind
think
of thing.
I have to assume it's just Bob playing it back on a tape deck and recording it with
Yeah,
the boombox from there. Because there's another track on here that's kind of like that.
yeah,
That's gonna be
the
a fun one to
song.
discuss. But yeah, it's the song. It is. See, we could have just said the title and moved on. Not that
Yeah,
it's a bad tune. It's certainly an experience. It's the shifting swift as a lift of Suitcase 3, but
yeah,
it doesn't allow for much discussion because it's just so out there. Um,
it's true.
Considerably less out there and weird is One Drop. Huh. Now where have I heard this one before?
Gee, I don't know.
Could it?
Only both these suitcase volumes.
It's on.
Wait, is it?
It's on Suitcase. There's versions of that. So it's Office of Hearts from Under the Bushes Under
Yeah.
the Stars, and it's also Sacred Space on Suitcase 2. One Drop
Hmm.
here on Suitcase 3, and just One Drop on Suitcase 4. There are. This is probably. I don't know if I can call that four different versions because One Drop and Just One Drop are pretty similar. It's just different recordings. This I think is
Yeah,
a non-live recording, and the other one is. But that's not the point. The
yeah.
point is, it's still Office of Hearts, but it's like a very,
Hmm.
it's a nice Office of Hearts, where Sacred
I
Space and
would.
Office of Hearts aren't.
It's an early version, like a naive
Yeah,
early Bob
naive.
version
That's
of a
the word
song.
I've been looking for to describe '80s Bob.
Yeah, yeah,
Let me rephrase it: the '80s
and
Bob that didn't make it onto the albums. The albums are still fucked, but
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's like a straightforward, just another drop of love. Bob wouldn't write that now, or at least not in this way. He'd
yeah,
probably say it in the
yeah.
way. He'd put it in the same song
It would.
as like the scent of someone strangling your mother's friends from Roll Me to Heaven. It's
It
a
would.
line because it sounds cool, not because it means anything.
Yeah. It never got released until he added lyrics like "It's Octopus Caveman."
What is it? Mating with the enemy. He's got a girl in every
Yeah,
arm. See, that's not in this song.
yeah.
That's a little too
Yeah.
rugged for this song. This
Hmm.
song is just I don't know. It's the kind of song that GVV were performing when they were actually a performing act of the '80s. Something like that.
Yeah,
And Dayton didn't
but
even like
very,
that.
very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Very
It
cool
is
that he, yeah,
good to
you
hear
take
that
the
it.
skeleton of something
Mhm.
and turn it into something much
Yeah,
better.
yeah. Speaking of songs that I'd like to hear that with, I've noticed I haven't said I'd like to hear this remade all episode. It goes without saying that I
You're
think
about
that
to.
about There Are Other Worlds, but really, I would love a new mainstay.
Man, Mainstay is great. I
It's
love
just
Mainstay.
you like Echo, bam, mainstay, and it's great
Yeah.
for it. I don't know when he recorded
Um,
this. I couldn't tell you. It's an older
I
track,
can't
and
tell
that's
either.
it's it's the buzzing one stringer for sure. That is the only conclusion I can draw about it. I think this song is unidentifiable, and it's all the better for it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's gorgeous. The distant echoey vocal, where you can just kind of pick up these snippets of lyrics and melody, and they're really good. Nice guitar. Kind of reminds me of like a well, actually, I'm listening to it now and I'm second
Hmm.
guessing myself, but I always thought of it as kind of like a Man Called Aerodynamics kind of style, just kind
Weirder.
of fast.
A
Yeah,
bit in a
weirder.
sense. It's I can't really picture any lineup doing it. That's the tricky thing. Is I'd
Yeah.
like to hear this redone, but I don't know how you top the feedback of the echo sort of piling on itself the way it does here.
Yeah, and at the end when it's all
It's
feeding
just
back and you're just like,
howling.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty perfect as is. But man, the chorus bit where I don't really know what he's saying, but it almost has a 50s kind of feel to it. Like all the things that
Yeah.
you've
Hmm.
been through.
I
Yeah.
can kind of see that.
Yeah. I was think of that as oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah, it's a great song. Great
Yeah.
song. Love it. I'm playing it in my headphones right now, so I'm just like captivated by it. I'm just like, yes, I love this.
Hmm.
Yep. So
All right.
this next one is cool.
Another song that begs for a remake because this isn't Bob. It's Six Land. It's a song Bob wrote about. I think I think someone must have asked John Schaff, who recorded this at some point, what Six Land was, because this is his version, because he remembered it, but Bob didn't. And I think he said this was a political track from Bob in the mid '90s. Like
Yeah,
I think he
like
said
something
Bob wrote
that
it in
was
Europe.
yeah. So with the songs that became Under the Bushes,
Yeah, this is
he
from that
there's a
period.
the big article where it was first talked about was it was like an oral history of GBV and he talked about that song and he would so this the producer of Under the Bushes, John Shaw, was
Or Schaff or
saying
whatever. It
he
doesn't matter. Sorry.
yeah he was saying he thought it was like maybe about yeah like you said some of the
Mhm.
messy like politics of like working with Kim Deal, something
Potentially,
like
yeah.
that.
I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I think once you plant the seed that it's a song with a more concrete meaning, you can apply a lot to it. Because I mean, it's
yeah. I yeah, I mean I
yeah,
don't really know what it's about.
hmm, it's kind
I
of
mean I don't know what
proggy.
the word six land means. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
it's a
I
proggier track from that era. It doesn't
yeah.
really stand still very long. Like, there's a period of like
Yeah.
three straight sections that don't repeat, don't appear before, don't appear after.
That's a good point, but it's all packed up in this very melodic, very Beatlesy song. You don't think of it as prog, really. I mean, it's like 2.5 minutes, but you're right. It doesn't sit still. It doesn't repeat itself that much.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, really, like that's kind of a Bob like holy grail would be to find the supposedly lost
Oof.
GBV version,
Yeah.
or
Or they could
hear
just
a Bob.
do it again. They could
Yeah,
always just do it
yeah.
again.
I always kind of wondered if the feel would be kind of different. I mean, it doesn't since we're just hearing like someone else's recording of it. Like I'm wondering how true to the original. Like I think the bones of it, like uh the melody and chords are probably the same, but I just
Hmm.
it doesn't feel like a song GBV would do it, or it
Hmm.
feels like they would do it differently. I guess I don't know. There's something kind of strummy and happy about it that
Hmm.
usually Bob doesn't go for.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be really cool to hear what what a GBV version would sound like.
Yeah.
But
Would be fun.
yeah, but yeah, this was like a legendary like just from hearing a few interviews where people had talked about this song, it was kind of like, oh holy crap, like there's this really good song that was left off under the bushes. Like what's that gonna
Yeah.
sound like? So
Like
people were
what
pretty stoked
Yeah, like
to
what
hear
Bunko
this.
Men, like what Bunko Men almost was, and hey, that got
Yeah.
remade, so anything's
Oh
possible.
yeah, heck yeah. Yeah.
How Bridges Fall. It's a lyric that later appeared on. I have to assume later, just because I'm assuming this was recorded before that, on No Island from Crawling Distance, which I think is one of Bob's
Yeah,
best
you're
songs.
right.
But this
Stand
isn't
too
that.
tall.
To know
No.
how bridges fall. But this is like that, but it's the only lyric, and it's Bob isn't singing over another recording. The other recording has the vocal, I think. I can't quite tell, but he's playing guitar over another recording. And near the end of the track, the original recording starts skipping through. Like I guess Bob was fast forwarding or something. What's really funny about
Well,
that?
well, you can hear on the Hot Freaks
Yeah.
installment of the From a Compound Eye demos,
Hmm.
there's like a little bit that has that riff.
Hmm.
It has different vocals, and it also has weird like fast forwarding or like skipping kind of glitches. So pretty
Yeah.
strange. I
So I
was trying to
think.
figure out what's going on here.
Hmm.
How do we make sense of all this?
Yeah.
Because before hearing that little snippet that would have been like 2004 or whatever, I would have pegged this one as one of the so-called like psycho
Hmm.
tracks.
I mean, it
That
still could
there's a
be.
few. Yeah, well, yeah, I think it is. I mean, even just the fact that some of those appeared on the Butler single,
Yeah.
and then as you just noted, that lyrical connection with From a Compound, or sorry,
Crawling
Crawling Distance.
distance. Yeah.
I I feel like that kind of puts it pretty much in that era with those other tracks, like
Yeah.
First Wave and some of the other
For
songs.
I would be a fish tank.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and some of the other songs that are on Suitcase 3, which I can't even think about right now, like
Gas.
watching him dig up the road or whatever. Yeah.
Gas. I saw some
Oh yeah,
candy,
yeah.
baby. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. What's next? Kind of love,
Kind
but
of
it's
love.
it's a studio recorded version with a 12 string compared to the original live version. I like this one more.
Me too.
I think it has slightly different lyrics that I like more. I mean, it's the
I
sort
mean,
of naive Bob that was still writing genuine love songs most of the time. It's Bob in his hard days night phase, as I'm gonna call it,
yeah.
because I think that's a
What you?
fair comparison, and I don't think
Yeah,
Bob would argue that.
I
It's
don't think so.
yeah, yeah,
What you have to admire about the song is the way the drums come in
hmm
on the second verse. Like
yeah,
yeah, it's almost like the whole song, the first chorus with no drums until it kind of kicks into gear. That's always fun. Fun
yeah,
arrangement. Almost hardcore UFOs esque.
a bit. I don't know if I'd compare it to that, because Hardcore UFO still has drums, but it's
Oh,
yeah, I
does
do
it?
see what you mean. I see
Yeah.
what you mean. It's not worth spending a load of time trying to argue it. So yeah, I see what you're getting at. Someone will agree
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
It's just
Next
it's a
one
good
is
little tune. Bad Whiskey,
Bad Whiskey.
soon to be revived as the Ballad of Bad Whiskey on Pollard All Timer, Let It Beard by Boston Spaceships.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a good tune. It's a really
Dude.
good tune.
Yeah. I mean, even in demo form, that's a very memorable kind of sing along little track, and definitely one of the catchiest songs on Let It Beard, I would say.
I don't know about that. I
I
mean,
found
we could argue all day about Let It Beard. That's a podcast of
Let
its own.
argue all day. No, like I guess for me, Let It Beard was
Mhm.
a very kind of almost a difficult album. I mean, it's just all over the place, but when I first got it, this was the song I latched onto. I mean, it's
Huh.
disc 2, track 1. It just stands out. And yeah, having heard
Yeah,
it on Suitcase 3
it's a.
helps
Mhm.
helps with that, of course.
I mean, I think it works on Let It Beard because it's a more subdued track after the way the first record closes.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus. Yeah. For context, everyone here who hasn't heard A Hair in Every Square Inch of the House should pause this YouTube video, head on over to wherever you can listen to A Hair in Every Square Inch of the House, listen to it, and then come back changed. You'll be a changed individual. Your life will never be
Just
the
listen
same.
to all of Let It Beard. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what Zeppelin over China should have been. This was a bad time to say that. Um, Bad Whiskey's a great track. It's a great demo. It sounds really nice, lo-fi,
Mhm.
and I I can't tell if Bob I don't because again I don't remember it. I haven't listened to this in a month. If Bob's just filling in the space with syllables or if he's like singing written lyrics. I don't remember, but it sounds nice either way. And if it's like slurred vocals, he's singing about whiskey. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I don't have very concise thoughts about this song. It's just good.
it is.
Yeah. Naked Believer.
I am. This one's a gem, like
Yeah.
a sub 1 minute. Like, I think the song has mystical powers. This is like a conjured kind of song.
A bit.
I feel like this is a song made entirely out of happy accidents, and it's just like, how can this exist in the world? It's so
Yeah. I
the,
don't. It sounds like a boombox demo, but it was an instrumental demo, and Bob brought that in when he recorded Elephant Jokes with Todd, and he just found that on a tape and said, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if I sang over this?" And then he did.
right. But there's something so cool about the guitar playing, which has a very interesting quality to it. I don't even know
It's
what it
like
is. Like,
it's like
is it
chicken.
being like muted?
It's like
Yeah.
like the sort of chicken picking style, but it's being played by Gang of Four. That's a weird way of
And
putting it,
Bob,
but
yeah,
it's a lot of
okay,
things.
yeah, yeah, and just the vocal though. Oh man, it is like it's that pure elephant jokes, just
Who
slurry, kind
who
of just really
so
loose.
yeah, someone once called that vocal style like Bob's Bill Murray voice. I think
Maybe
referring to Bill Murray's character in Caddyshack, I want to say.
I think so.
Hmm.
The best example of that is this
George took a
George took a
shovel.
shovel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I remember referencing. But I mean, it's this too. I think someone once said the Blondes from Off the Business kind of had it.
maybe. Yeah,
That's another
that's
discussion. The Blondes is a great track, but it's not on this suitcase at all. In fact,
yeah, but yeah, Naked Believer. That's just
yeah.
an uncanny kind of track for me.
Hmm.
I love how that track just it's great.
Yeah, and then it takes us into Out of the House.
Yeah, and I always think of these two together because they're also sequenced together on Case 3
Yeah. Not
as
sequenced
like
together on the original Elephant Jokes, though. I
oh
remember,
yeah, that's true.
I think Rich Turiel, who used to run Rockathon, said that he sequenced the briefcase to put Naked Believer with Out of the House because that is how the original Elephant Jokes ended, but it didn't end like that. It still ended with Architectural Nightmare Man and shit.
Gotcha.
So, because I had to check your website when Rich said that, I was like, well, Sash's website has it, and it didn't end this way. But they do work well together. They do work well together.
Mhm.
Out of the
Yeah,
House,
Naked Believer like the short kind of intro track,
yeah,
and
and
then Out
then
of the House
Out of
just
the
kind of
House, which
rock.
dates back to the early '80s, as we learned
Yeah,
recently.
which we didn't even know that when this
Yeah.
podcast began, but
Hmm.
in the course of the last couple months or so, the Face from a Compound Eye demos were released on Hot Freaks, and
The
yeah,
first
from a
round
Compound
was,
Eye, like pretty
yeah,
much half of it was old stuff that when you listen to it, you can obviously tell it was like 80s acid ranch
yeah.
type of era, and
Hmm.
Out of the House unexpectedly was amongst them a very early raw version
Yeah.
of it,
And it
and
was, but it wasn't like a snippet either. Like the Annex was also on there, but that version was 30 seconds
yeah,
long. This was a three
you're right.
minute, a very
It's a
badly recorded 3 minute song. It is, I think,
yeah, but a complete song with
yeah, it's the most testing track on
exactly
that
the
first
parts.
section, though. That first American
Yeah,
Super Junior Wild, it's the most testing track, but it is also Out of the House. It's a good
it's
tune.
amazing, and even on that early version, Bob is singing the crazy, awesome guitar line that ends it. Doo, doo, doo.
It's sort of a kind of wire lick in a sense.
It's
The
super
high
cool.
note
So
standing out
yeah,
a bit there. That sounds a bit like maybe some of the earlier Colin Newman solo tracks. The lines
yeah.
kind of reminiscent of, which would have been around that time. Although I don't know if Bob was listening to Wire in 1981, 1982, or whenever.
hmm
I forget when he says
What I
he
like
found
about
them.
oh yeah, I'm not sure either. Well, what I like about this one is, I mean, you have Bob's like we were talking about, his kind of naive '80s era
Yeah.
of songs, but this is not that. This is a
Hmm.
song that very raw, very like crawled out of the basement
Hmm.
kind of feel to it. but now given this complete production treatment by Todd Tobias, so you just have a really, really cool, solid song. I mean, I
It
always thought
lives.
this was
It gets to breathe.
really, yeah, I always thought this was a standout track on the whole Elephant Jokes era. So it was cool to know that it was kind of in the running for From a Compound Eye,
Yeah,
and
it fits.
actually it was an older track.
Yeah, and I'd say it fits better on Elephant Jokes, but I guess Bob didn't agree
I
with
would
that
say
either,
too, yeah.
because that's why it's
Yeah,
here. Uh,
yeah.
Grow. Ooh, want to
This is
clarify. I like this, but this is a poor recording. There's a loud hum, a loud of bassy hum that goes through the whole thing. There's a
you're
track on
right.
Suitcase 4 that does that too, and I think one or two of the Let It Beard demos. So it's some kind of interference, and this demo just hops around. Like
Yeah,
the first half of the recording or so is hopping through a few riffs before settling on Bob just strumming. I think it was it. Have you heard the story? Yeah, and that's the song. That's the best. The song is worth it for Bob doing that.
yeah,
It always made me think he recorded this for our Boston Spaceships thing. I don't know why that's the
right.
conclusion I drew, but I always had the impression that Grow he had in mind as a Spaceships track.
I could
And
say
then it
that.
wasn't.
It's hard to tell from what when it originated, but it's definitely a possibility.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, not really a ton to say about this one.
Yeah.
Rough tracks.
Is this
This is
a Fun Punk 5?
I wouldn't
No.
say so. The drumming's too good to be Fun Punk 5.
Oh, good
It's not
point.
drunk enough. It's not it's
It's an
not 2 a.m.
instrumental.
Yeah, it's
No, no,
it's a
you're
good
right. You're
instrumental.
right. It is a little
Isn't it?
bit worked out.
Is
It's
it?
not. It's
Who's it
not a
credited
jam.
to? Is this credited to Bob, Mitch, and Kevin?
Let's see
Because I feel
here.
like I remember Kevin being credited on this one.
Yes, yes, it is. You're right.
So I'd
So
pin
this
this
is. You're
to
right.
maybe I'd say either mid '80s or early '90s. I'm not sure which.
That's
I don't care. It's an
yeah,
instrumental, so it's hard to tell. But
yeah,
it's a nice groove. It's a really nice groove. And obviously, I don't think Bob can bring this back. I mean,
yeah.
it being a groove makes it a little hard to add vocals to. But I mean, bands have taken songs that go. I mean, The Fall made an entire career out of singing over aimless instrumentals. So, and no, I don't regret
Gro-
saying that.
Groovy instrumentals.
Yeah, it's a groove. I don't know why, but I can envision the song in my head, and I don't know why, but I'm thinking of like early Perubu. It's a weird comparison to make for a track like this, not for Bob as a whole, just for this track. But
Hmm.
I guess it's got a
Yeah.
groove going. It's a groove. It's a groove. It's a nice groove. I'm also just a sucker for those hi hats. Dicka 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 dicka
Hmm.
dicka dicka. Love it. I love that groove so much. Maybe that's why I like '80s Wire so much. Um,
Yeah.
Nothing So Hard by Gel Clay. I think this is one of
Yeah.
the
Heck yeah.
Isn't this Universal Truths era? I think
I believe it is.
I think that
I
would put
don't
it.
think it's ever been confirmed, but
I feel like that would. Well,
inferred.
it sounds. I think it's the same band credit as Joe the Crow. So if it's
Yeah.
Universal
Joe
Truths
Clay.
era, then it's roughly the end of the buzzing one stringer before Bob got a real acoustic guitar. I don't know. That's just nerd
Is that
shit
true?
that only I care about. I'm pure speculation. I don't know. I just know
Lots
that
of
I've heard
people
that.
care about.
If lots of people care, then don't listen to me now because again, pure speculation. But I don't have to speculate. I said it's good. It's always
Heck
been
yeah.
good. I love the song.
I feel like this could have been on. This could have taken
You
the
should
place
have
of
known
Terry
of
Says.
the kind of
No.
love that hurts you.
Oh man, that
This,
part that is so
yeah.
universal truths and cycles. Like
Oh, that's why I think it's
you
Universal
can't.
Truths. Bob was
Yeah,
writing shit like that, like Pretty Bombs.
yeah,
I've been working on a cover of Eureka Signs. It's like it's the non sequiturs that work perfectly well. The sort of
yeah,
I'm gonna call it micro prog because it's not really prog, but it's the idea of a song shifting gears fairly suddenly. And even this is more just like a
yeah.
bridge. It just feels prog because Bob doesn't usually write bridges.
Yeah.
That's yeah,
There's something very that he was doing a lot on Universal Truths and Cycles.
yeah,
So yeah, for
hmm
sure.
yeah. But the
That's
whole
why
thing's great.
it's nice because yeah, Bob. I mean, obviously Prague is one of the four P's that he
Hmm
draws from, but that's just he takes it. He takes elements of that and
hmm
combines them in interesting ways. So it's not prog per se. I mean, I don't think you would play some of those tracks for like a real prog head person and
Yeah,
really
that
like impress
I
them
don't.
because
Yeah, maybe not.
it's not about like it's not about
The complexity.
Bob's
It's
never
just
about the complexity or
or
the
yeah,
show
mhm.
offy
Yeah,
virtuosity.
show offy. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
I'd say the
it's always
musicianship, but this lineup's kind of
mhm,
really good in that front. They're just not,
yeah,
I mean, there was one point where GBV was a bit show offy, and Bob
yeah.
didn't like that very much, and then waited six
Good
years to
point.
put it on a live album. So
Yeah,
I hope you know
he
what I'm referencing there. It's a recording every
says,
GBV fan should know.
"Produce me."
Yes. Yeah, that's not on here at all. It has nothing to do with the song. Nothing so hard is great. Bob,
It's great.
do it again. Bring it
Try it.
back. Bring it
Yeah,
back. Uh,
we want it.
this next one is a Silverfish trivia outtake. It's called "Piss Along You Bird."
Yeah.
I always think this song, in my mind, I always feel like this song is like 150 in length. I always forget it actually does break 2 minutes. It's a good track. I really like
Hmm.
a lot of the. I like Silverfish trivia, but I actually think I like the outtakes a little more. I think they rock a bit
There's
harder.
some really good stuff on those.
Street
It's interesting.
Velocity, Met Her
Yeah,
at a
Street
Seance,
Velocity. How
Be
did
in the
that one get
fuck, Be
buried?
in the Wild Place.
Oh
And then
man.
this one. Well, this one at least got to be on a Suitcase. I think more people have
Yeah.
heard "Piss Along You Bird" than the Silverfish Trivia EP just because it's
Mhm.
got in my voices. That's a grim look at it. Just
Bob
thinking
was
with
even playing that one
live.
live.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a recording on my. I have a recording somewhere on my computer. A really, really good recording of
That's the Philly show.
Yeah, that that is exactly the show I have, and some of the
Yeah.
tracks are a bit joined at the hip, so I have to chop those up. It's a really good recording, and it's got a really nice. It's track five, or is it one? Track five in the set list is "Piss Along You Bird," so they were readying that. Met Her at a Seance.
Yeah, Bob was talking about Silverfish Trivia. I think that's what it was still called. It,
Was he
you
calling
know,
it that?
um,
So it was past Freak
maybe.
Anthem, which I think was the first name.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And hey, this is a song from the next album, but of course it was not.
It was not, but it should have been. Although,
Yeah, it's
granted,
good.
it's hard to complain about the albums we've got because Coast to Coast and Gargoyle Decisions are also pretty good.
Yeah.
Would have been would have been funny to get 3 albums. I think even Merge would have said no to that. That's a bold move. Even King Gizzard don't put out 2 albums in the same day.
That's true.
I bet they would if they wanted to.
It's only a matter of time before that happens, but yeah.
Yeah, and if it's anything like the album they put out this year, I'll be very disappointed. Um, they should do. No, I was gonna say they should do a song that sounds like this, but they shouldn't. 300 Birds, quota,
Ooh.
Acid Ranch with a touch of Nightwalker. 'Cause
Or is it Mailbox?
I guess it's Mailbox. I just group everything from that era into Acid Ranch.
I mean, Mailbox is basically Acid Ranch, but with
Yeah.
a little bit more
It's Acid Ranch with
structure.
it's Acid Ranch with form, and then it ends in a drum machine, and it ends with U235 from the Nightwalker album,
Oh,
which
you're right.
proves, if nothing else, that I have no life because I remembered the name of that track and knew it was here.
One part of the song that rules is when Bob goes, quota.
Yeah, I think it's just why it's in the title, as it is an amusing little moment.
100 birds.
Quota.
Quota.
Yeah. We're making it sound a bit more, not majestic,
Like,
forceful than it. Yeah,
Ominous
important
or
than
something,
it is. Yeah, it's Mailbox. It's a song. It's a tune. It's Gene Autry Psychic, which is a band name I know is on another Suitcase.
what's the band name?
Gene Autry. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Gene Autry Psychic is. I remember doing this like a challenge I issued on DTS or something because I noticed this is Bob will reuse band names on Suitcases if the tracks are connected, but a few times he's reused a name and the tracks aren't connected at all. Yeah, this was used in Suitcase 2 for Scare Me number 3, which was a Half Smiles of the Decomposed demo. 20 years later. No connection. So yeah, he just used the name twice. I'd say it's a good name, but I don't know who Gene Autry is, so it's not all that
Me
amazing to me.
neither.
Yep. It's a nice little tune. Fire King Says No Cheating. At the time, was supposed to be the only Circus Devils outtake. Bob recorded vocals for it, but I think they said it was Pinball Mars.
Yeah.
It was recorded for, and it wasn't used. And it's... I would imagine it wasn't... Well, I imagine there's an original version of this mix somewhere out there that sounds good, but this has a ton
Right.
of glitching, and it fades out halfway through.
Yeah.
I once compressed the fuck out of this mix just so I could hear the rest of the song and bring the volume
I
up.
can remember that.
It's a good tune, actually. I think it would have been one of my favorite. One of the. I don't know if it sticks out as an absolute favorite anyway, but it would have been a solid track on Pinball Mars. I will be honest. It would be a solid Pinball
Oh yeah,
Mars
for
track.
sure.
And
Yeah, I like
it's
it.
quite good.
It's nice. It's always nice to
It's
have
good
more
for what it
Circus
is.
Devils, so.
Yeah. It's just that the recording. It's just that the quality of the master is wretched. Like it just sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But it's worth the love. I'm just looking at it now. We're on a hot streak here. We are entering a really nice stretch of tracks.
Ooh, yeah, we are.
Yeah. Do we have anything else to say about Fire King Says No Cheating? I feel like we
I don't
should.
think
But
so.
all right.
It pretty much fades out for half its length. So
Yeah.
it's
Like
kinda-
right as Bob starts singing, it gets kind of inaudible. Yeah. Poison Shop. It's called Poison
Man.
Shop. It's 35 seconds long. I don't know what it's from. It's incredible. I don't like.
Yeah, it is.
I'd beg for a remake, but it's never gonna get better than this. It's just, this is I know people will use Jesus the Clockwork as a poster child for Bob being able to just conjure something, but I think this deserves it a bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't know
I'm
when he
with you.
recorded it. Don't know how he recorded
There's-
it. It almost sounds like there's a string section at one point, but there obviously isn't. It just sounds like there is the way the strings resonate.
Yeah, the way the tape distortion is, and it's just like 30 seconds of just. There's a really
You'll
beautiful
be okay.
melodic. Sure. Yeah.
Something you won't
Love
be
that.
a friend anymore. Do won't meet your friend anymore. Do. Oh, it's perfect.
Seriously, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's so great. That's why Suitcase is great. You get to. What even is the song? It's just.
It just is. It's Poison Shop.
It just is. It's
Poison
the
Shop.
song.
That's earlier in the disc.
Yeah. Ha ha ha.
It's
So
Poison
this
Shop.
next song.
Is a
This next song
Power of
was
Suck
the one.
outtake. It's a Power
Yeah.
of Suck
Well,
outtake.
I already mentioned that I was excited about Six Land, and I was excited about what's the other one?
Bunker Man?
There Are Other
Oh,
Worlds.
there are other
but,
worlds.
But when I got Suitcase 3 in the mail, first thing I did was hop on this disc and play Trader Vic because that was the one I was most excited about.
Because it was
because
a Power of Suck
it
demo
was
that
a
didn't go
Power
anywhere.
of Suck demo that was totally unheard and did not disappoint. I think this song is
The first,
super good.
Yeah, the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, where have I heard this before? And I couldn't find it because it wasn't. It's just like it's Bob to a T. I guess it would be he wrote it and sang
Yeah.
it.
It's like
We are the Iron Man.
it's like an
and, you know.
archetypal GBV song. It sounds to me, I mean, like what it is, which is a song that kind of could bridge the gap between Alien Lanes and like Under the Bushes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a Power of Suck demo, so I imagine it would be. So this would be late '94, early '95 when Bob was starting to write those tunes and play some of them live. Wild to
that
think.
lyrical.
Yeah, wild to think Bob was playing Power of Suck tracks before Alien Lanes came out. That's ridiculous. Fucking Bob.
The lyrical connection to Iron Man
We
rally
are the
song
Iron
is
Man,
just
and we now command you to sing. Oh, Trey, yeah. This song kind of got a remake-ish, a little bit, kind of, sort of, not
oh,
really.
you're right. There's a Cash Rivers.
There when they announced the track list for, hold on, let me get this. Do not try to adjust your set. I am the horizontal and the vertical. Huh. By Cash Rivers and the Sitters, the 69 song double album. Which, random story about that album, I played it on a shitty turntable in my dorm room the first time I listened to it. Because I wanted to listen to it on the vinyl before I used the download code. And somewhere during the side D, my roommate and a friend walked in. And I didn't really catch the last two songs because there's no way in the entire fucking universe I was going to let my friends hear this. But there's some interesting tracks near the home stretch on that album.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a track I think on side C called "TV's Got a Lot of Things on His Mind," and when I saw the track list, I was excited about that because I was thinking, "Fuck, we're gonna get Cash Rivers as Trader Vic," and then it came on. Whoa, it sounds nothing like this at all. What is
Kind
it?
of like an electro tinged
Yeah, Trader
track.
Vic's got a lot of things on his mind. It's. I
Yeah.
think I said when they put out "Goddamn Look at My Phone Got Wet." And they
Oh
do the
man.
ga. That was my moment of holy shit, Bob is shit posting and pressing it on vinyl. And it's weird to use such a contemporary term for someone like Bob, but that's what Cash Rivers was. And it's weird that of all the songs in here he could have done it with, he took a perfectly good power pop track like Trader Vic. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, another track is perfect and good and perfect. I think I said,
Ooh.
I forget when I mentioned this, but I acknowledge that this disc houses one of my hottest Guided by Voices takes. And it's that this version of Smothered in Hugs should have been on B1000.
Well, you know the Heat has said the same thing
See, I didn't
on
know that Heat
DTF.
has said the same thing. I feel like if you're
So
listening to it, then you can say anything, because if you can
yeah.
listen to any Bob
No,
album and be like, this is the best shit ever. But
yeah.
this,
No, this is undeniably great. I mean, one of the
yeah.
greatest songs ever made,
Hmm.
and just a really great
Yeah.
version of
And
it.
it's nice because one of the things that always bugged me about the album version, and I'm not going to sit here and say that B1000's bad or Smothered in Hugs is bad, but this song's a lot more dynamic than that one. Like, I've seen Hugs done live, and I'd like to hear this version done live because it's more subdued. There's no sludge. Sludge is great, but when you strip back, there's a beautiful song in there. And this song, you know, gets a chance to evolve over time. Like, it's got leads that come in on every new section.
Yeah,
And
that would be
Bob's
interesting.
vocals are more pronounced. It's great. Remember a long time ago when I spent 6 minutes talking about how Color Coat Drag was the best song ever written?
Hmm.
I need you to make sure I don't do that again right now because I know I could and I know you could too. Because it's so great.
Yeah, man.
It's so great.
It is so great.
Hmm. And I feel like we should be talking about it more. I'm also tired. I'm always
I mean,
tired.
what else can you say about Smothered in Hugs?
You
Like we
can't.
all know, it's
It's
a classic.
yeah.
This is the equivalent. I mean, this is labeled the 4-track version, but
I
you could
think they're
also
both
call it
four
the
track.
slow version.
It's like how the quieter version of Dusted on Fast Japanese Spin Cycle is the one I always hear people talk about. Like it's on Vampire and Titus, but whenever I hear people talk about it, it's always the version without the drums and the noise and shit. And I think
Yeah,
that applies here as
yeah.
well. So like again,
Interesting.
as an avid lover of noise and sludge and horrid shite, sometimes it really is just better to strip a song back and let it just exist. And the drum machine groove I like here a lot too. Like I don't think it's even there's no snare in it at all. It's just it's duh, 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 duh.
What I like about this one is that little guitar
Yeah.
arpeggio.
Do do do. I think
Yeah.
that would be I think a guitar tuned a whole step down. So like how a guitar is normally tuned, but instead of say E and A, E then A would be D then G, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
Interesting.
yeah,
You don't hear a lot of alternate tunings in
yeah.
Bob's work.
I mean, I guess it's like kind of alternate because it's the same
Oh
if
yeah.
you put a
I guess
if you put a capo on it, goes to standard, but it's it's still
it's like
different.
putting a negative capo on it.
Yeah, negative capo. I have actually used that term before, so
Have you?
yeah, I have. It's usually only in my in personal notes if I'm keeping track of like song tunings because I use capos a lot
Oh,
too.
that's awesome.
But so it's like, huh, huh, huh. I just heard someone do a. I've
Do
got
you
along
do
very
you
well
write
with.
down do you write down notes for all your songs?
I write down basically nothing. I write lyrics,
Okay.
and if a song is really, if I because most of my songs, you know what? Hold on. We're getting off track. Let's finish this disc first, and I will gladly talk about my process. But
Deal.
I think we need to finish this first. So
Okay.
first we're gonna
'Cause
spend.
we have to talk
Okay,
about Dibble
we're gonna
too.
spend no more than 18 seconds talking about Dibble 2. It's the beginning of an acoustic demo for the song Isolation Drills. And if it were
Yeah.
that in this spot, oh, it'd be incredible.
That
'Cause
would
I
be
love that
incredible.
song's great.
Sadly.
The most
Yeah.
interesting part about it is that it's called, the band name is Aerial Poop Show, which was a name that would surface a bit later as one of my favorite Circus Devils instrumentals. All right, I think
nice.
we hit 18 seconds. Now it's time to talk about the real closer.
Oh man.
A demo with different lyrics of Huffman Prairie Flying Field from Half Smiles the Decomposed.
Another one of Bob's best songs, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say
In
that.
in the vein of Smothered and Hugs too. I mean,
I don't know if this
rank
version's
them
better
both.
though, but
What's that?
I don't know if I'd call this version better than the album version though.
No, I don't
that
think
album
it's better than
that album
the
version
album,
could bring
but-
anyone to tears. I don't know if this can, but it's there. The song is there.
It is really
It needs
awesome.
work. It needs new lyrics. I think what's interesting about this is that it is a clearly written lyric set. Bob's not mumbling or anything. He wrote stuff down, but it doesn't
Yeah.
hit the same as the album version does.
Yeah. There's bass on this version.
I think that's the tricky thing is I can't tell if it's just like the way the guitar got recorded
Mm.
because it's only playing the root notes
Yeah.
at the
that's true.
exact time. So I've never been sure. It's not a question I've thought to pursue further. So doesn't really matter much, I suppose.
Sounds like
I don't lose sleep
What
over
if
it, but it could be a bass.
it almost sounds like an acoustic with like a pickup in it or something.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not
Or
really
like
sure.
you're
but it
hearing
could be
the
that.
acoustic, but you're also hearing some sort of amplified or distorted.
Yeah. Maybe it's mic'd. I don't really know. I haven't thought about it that hard.
Me neither. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's a great
I'd
song.
like to hear the rest of that. Maybe if this is one of the fabled Half Smiles demos, I bet the other tracks would probably sound pretty cool like this.
That's true.
Yeah.
And what a song.
Yeah. And
Far too long.
what a disc. It's a good disc.
It's a good disc.
Yeah. I haven't listened to it in a month, so I'm just I mean
What's your favorite
disc or song on this?
song on this disc?
Smothered in Hugs. Oh, easily Smothered in Hugs. Not to discredit stuff like Poison Shop and Their Other Worlds, but Smothered in Hugs. Easily Smothered in Hugs.
Guess it's hard to beat Hugs.
It's hard to beat. There's nothing so hard as beating Hugs. See, I get to make jokes like that too.
Nice work.
We did good after no months over a month of not recording an episode. We did pretty good on time.
It's like riding a bike. Oh, did we?
Yeah, we're under an hour. We're not much under an hour, but par for the course. I can probably upload this tonight too and be like, hey, we're alive. Maybe we should do this more regularly then. I have nothing to do for the next month, so up to you.
Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later. In the meantime,
Sounds
though,
good.
we have been Suitcase Disc by Disc, hosted by the Tin Can Laughter, Suitcase 3, Disc 3, or Disc 11 total. Next episode, we'll discuss the most unique disc of the 16.
All suitcases.
Yeah. But that is
Tall, pale moon, antiquated.
antiquated.
Yes.
Yeah, long title. No fake band names. It's all guided by voices. And we'll talk about that, I'd say next week. Really, it kind of doesn't, since I stopped paying attention to an upload schedule, it doesn't really matter.
do weeks really even exist anymore? I mean, think about it.
No.
It's 2020. It's still 2020
Yeah.
as we
And
record this.
soon it'll be 2021, and it still won't matter because I am on winter break and my classes don't start until February 1st. So,
Hey.
all right, we broke an hour. So, haha. All right.
See ya.
Take care, everyone. And
Bye.
remember, don't drink and drive, kids. Stay at home and eat.